Hey guys, I'm Jamie,
And I'm David.
and we're here to talk about board games.
Specifically, all the games that we played in March.
Yeah, so we did this for January and February. This is our monthly recap for what we played and what we liked, what stood out to us, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I say we kick it off with the number of plays.
Yeah. So this past month we had 20 gameplays. So not bad for sure.
Definitely better than February.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as January.
Yeah, for sure. But on the up and up for sure.
Yeah.
And, I think it really just goes to say that Clank Legacy has been taking so much of our time. And soon we'll be done with that because we've got one play left of it to go. So
Yeah, it's a great game that we are dying and sad to finish.
yeah.
If you want to learn more about that, check out the cards. I'll throw that video up there. But once that is completed, we'll do a whole wrap up on that as well. The video that we've already posted is a midway point. It's like a check-in.
Yeah.
But out of those 20 plays, 16 games, different games.
Yes.
Yep.
So a couple of repeats. Literally a couple. Only 2 repeat games that we played this month.
Yeah. One of them being Clank Legacy, obviously.
Yeah.
But in terms of days we've played, it looks like Saturday made a comeback.
Yep. Yeah. Saturday on the top day. And then tied for second place, we had Sunday and Thursday.
There's something about Thursday.
I think that what it is that we have pretty consistent standing plans Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Wednesdays we end up having to play a little bit of catch up.
Yeah.
And so then Thursdays just end up being a good free day where we can often play games and we basically never want to do anything with anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like our top 2 days were March 20th and the 29th.
Yes, so those were tied at 3 plays each. One of those actually ended up becoming like that was the day that got us our second place for our most played games. So those most played games that we had from this month, in first place, surprising nobody. I think it's been top every time, right?
Yes.
Is Clank Legacy 2, Acquisitions Incorporated, Darkest Magic.
It is. I mean, it's just a game we keep coming back to because we want to finish this Legacy campaign. It's so good. Like David said, we got one more play of it, so it will drop off. But right now, we'll just keep saying her name.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal game for sure. We had 4 plays of that this past month, so we've really just been hitting it weekly.
Yeah,
basically.
almost one a week.
Yeah,
one a weekend.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean the weekends are really the only time that we have time because sometimes it takes us 2.5 hours to play.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah.
I think we would have speed run this game if it didn't take us so much time. We had to play on the weekends.
Yeah, if it was a quicker game, or if we just didn't have to work, I think
we just made something else our full-time job.
Yeah.
The second most played game is a game we only played twice, but she got in there.
Yep.
And that was a game on Board Game Arena.
Yes, which was a great time for sure. And so this was Far Away. This was our first time playing it. Really enjoyed playing it on BGA because it's not too hard to grasp the things that you're supposed to do playing Far Away. If you haven't played it before, basically you build out, not really an engine, but you build out a path of a kind of like a journey, and then at the end of the game it fires backwards.
Yeah, it's like a little tableau.
Yeah, the tableau. Yeah,
it's a one-row tableau. And when it's a 1-row tableau, and then when you're doing the scoring at the end, you start with your last card. And like David said, work backwards. So anything that's before the card you're currently scoring doesn't count towards the overall score. So you could have this card where you're like, okay, I need 3 of these little icons in order to score it. But if that's one of your last cards, you're like, crap, I'm not gonna have that when I'm scoring. So it's a weird one to wrap your head around. We'd heard nothing but good things about this game.
Yeah, and it is good. We had a really good time for sure. Yeah. Definitely want to play a bit more.
Yeah.
And potentially try with a few more players to see
Yeah.
kind of what that's like when it's a little bit more competitive, trying to grab at things.
But I thought the BGA experience was satisfying enough to where I'm not running to go buy this game.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely the tutorial on BGA, very good. Made it really easy to kind of learn by doing. And the fact that it can count up your points at the end of the game, like, crushes it. Because it would be really confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's third place, David?
Everything else that we played.
We had no other games that we played more than once.
Yeah, so the other 14 games were all played one time. For those of you that didn't instantly do the math in your head on 4 plays of Clank, 2 plays of Far Away.
Yeah.
So everything else we just gave it a try and then moved on. That's not really the right way to say it. I mean, several of them were games that, we
were either trying to tick a box on our 10x10 challenge or, so.
Yeah, and we like the variety.
Yeah, but 8 of those games were new to us.
Yes.
And those included, like we said, Far Away, as well as Barbecubes.
Yep.
Everdell Duo.
Yeah, which is kind of new. So, we've played it once before as the competitive version of it, but for our 10x10, we said that we're going to be playing through it on the cooperative kind of campaign story mode.
Yeah.
So we count it as new because it really is a very different experience, cooperatively versus competitively.
Yeah, if you're building the same town, it's different. Yeah. And the limitations are different and stuff. So I recommend trying it if you're nervous about it being the same game. Just do it. We also played First to Worst Couples Connection. I keep saying edition. It's Connection.
Yeah, Couples Connection.
For Dice Games, as well as Mysticana from Button Shy Games.
Yeah, that was really exciting. We've been getting into Button Shies. Jamie got me their monthly Game of the Month club for Christmas. Yeah,
it was one of those things where I committed to I'll buy 3 months of it, and then if we like it, we'll keep going. So we're gonna keep going for now.
Yeah, we've been enjoying it. It's been nice to try out a couple of the ones. If you haven't heard of Button Shy's Game of the Month Club, recommend it. It's pretty cool. And if a game comes out that's the game of the month and you're not really feeling it, you can switch it out for other games. So I know this most recent month was more like a party game about it's called Movie Plots, which is about different movie plots. And we didn't really care for that because most of our gaming is 2-player and we have a bunch of party games.
But also in this bundle for this box are usually expansions for other games that most people that are Button Shy fans will already have. So one of those was for the game Aqua Rove, which is a solo game that I'd actually been wanting to try. So
same.
We switched it to Aqua Rove. So now we have that and the expansion.
Yeah, definitely rocked on that, which I did a month, 2 months ago with Mysticana. It came with a Mysticana expansion.
Yes.
And so I swapped the game out for Mysticana. And then this past month actually also had a Mysticana expansion. So this month was fire for us.
Yeah, it was really solid. But out of those new games, we've got 3 that we want to talk about a little bit more. So the first one I'm going to bring out is Apothebakery.
It's so cute, y'all. These little guys.
Yeah.
I love them all.
This is from Lux Lupo. This is a Kickstarter that I did not pledge originally, but I did the pre-order backing. So when it fulfilled, I got it. And it is a game all about brewing little potions. You can see these little potions on here for when these adventurers come by and they're sick with little ailments. So
sometimes they're big ailments. Sometimes it's very doomy, deathy stuff.
But sometimes they die before you can treat them, and they turn into ghosts.
Yeah.
And the ghosts have vengeance. So it's cute and fantasy and spooky as well.
Yeah, it has an interesting little kind of resource management aspect to it where you're trying to, gather potions that, ingredients that you need, gather potion ingredients that you might need, but also you're trying to, kind of fight the balance of okay, do I try to take fewer resources but get to choose first, or do I try to take more resources but get to choose later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also got a like a bag drawing element. I was going to say bag builder, but that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So when you turn your ingredients into a potion, you're actually drawing from this bag to determine whether or not you distilled the ingredients correctly into like a good, pure elixir, or into like or into a fail.
Yeah. And sometimes you mess up and it ends up making your potions and stuff even better.
Yeah.
And other times you mess up and it immediately kills the adventurer.
Yeah, the like iffy elixirs give you side effects, and you roll a die, and sometimes they're positive, which is, I think that was the first one I did. I rolled it, and it was like +3. I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah, the first one was just like, oh, you actually just completely crushed this.
Yeah, so that's Apothebakery. Very cute. Highly recommend.
Yeah. The next one that we're kind of calling out, especially on our new games, it's Nowhere.
I got so confused when you reached just now. I was literally like, no, David, don't.
Surprise.
Oh!
Yeah. So we don't actually own it. This is Three Sisters. Although we really enjoyed it. We've been getting a lot more into roll and writes. Shout out to our friend Curvin for really kicking that off for us at PAX Unplugged. Roll and writes are awesome.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
2025 is the year of the roll and write for Jamie and David.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be a lot more roll and writes coming up in our videos.
Yeah.
Moving forward. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
The reason why we don't have this one here is because we played it at a game cafe. The one near us that we go to is Red Raven Board Games and Comics and Board Game. Or Red
Raven is one of our favorite board game designers. Blackbird Comics and Coffee House is the one that's close to us.
But the awning is red, and the bird looks like a raven, so I'm not entirely wrong. It's Blackbird Comics and Coffee House.
It's not as embarrassing as it could be. Like, imagine if you had your bottle with your Blackbird sticker on it in front of you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's our local game cafe that we frequent. So we rented Three Sisters, which I was like, didn't know about renting a roll and write, but it was fine.
Yeah, it was great.
And this makes us, if you've watched our video for the most anticipated for 2025, you will know that Three Sisters Harvest Edition was on my list. And I really think that playing this just reinforced it.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, yeah, we can check that out, like, potentially. And then when we saw it available at Blackbird, we were like, oh, let's just try it.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, this game slaps real hard.
David destroyed me in it. I still had a great time, but destroyed.
I had a really great time. And then lastly...
She's big!
Oh, God.
This is Critter Kitchen.
Which, honestly, if you're watching this, you've probably heard about.
Yeah, she's a big one. We got the deluxe edition, which is why we got this monster of a game. And this is by Cardboard Alchemy. And the artwork is Sendara Tang, who all of that together is just great for us. That artist and that production company also did a beloved game of ours known as Flamecraft. We love that game so much. So this kind of takes the idea of that. It's not set in the same world, but instead of just being dragons in this world, this is all like anthropomorphic creatures, basically. And you are running a restaurant where you are sending out some of your chefs to go get some ingredients so that you can cook some things up for a critic at the end of the game. Yep.
Yeah, it's on getting on that farm to table life for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's getting on the random black market street vendor to table life.
Yeah, there is like a black market vendor.
Yeah.
There's like a soup truck as well. All these little vendors. I think it's just a really good game, and I feel like we kind of barely touched it.
Yeah.
But you'll probably hear more about this in a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, if we knew 100% that this was going to be here in this year, there's a good chance it could have made our 10 by 10 because it's a really good game and we really want to play it a lot.
Yeah, a lot of repeats. But speaking of our 10 by 10,
update time.
Let's check in. She's just looking a lot better, isn't she, from last time?
We got a whole row filled.
I know.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing the math, it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
So theoretically, a quarter of a year, we would need to do 25 plays to stay on pace.
Yeah.
This is 21.
Yeah, so a little bit behind, but
it's better than February.
It's better than February. And again, if you look at this, right? I mean, every one of these 10 games of Clank, and we've played 11.
Yeah.
Every single one of these 10 games of Clank is so much longer than literally everything else here. Like Sky Team, we could finish our 10 by 10 of Sky Team in like the time it took us to play 5 of these Clank games.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were going to say one Clank game, and I was going to be like, you're lying to yourself, sir.
No. It's not a 20-minute game.
Yeah.
But.
So some new ones to hit the challenge were Search for Lost Species.
Such a good game.
Really good game. I love that game. It's a deduction game. And I won this time. That was very exciting.
Yeah. You won, and I just by a turn, I found the Lost Species first.
So mad.
But you still won.
I told myself I should just say, I think I know where the Lost Species is now.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to get points another way, which ended up working out in my favor, I think, when I did the math on it.
I mean, you would have won either way, but I think you won by more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about Everdell Duo already trying the campaign. Very different game, but same game, kind of. Because Everdell Duo really kind of makes your turns so much more valuable.
Yeah.
And when you're playing the same game with somebody, you're like, okay, but I really needed to be able to do this action before we go to the next season.
Yeah.
So you have your own hands of cards. You have your own resources. There is a mechanic to like trade some stuff back and forth, but it's very limited.
Yeah.
And you are building out your city together with no card limit, right?
Correct. Yeah. So normally in Everdell, there's a limit to the amount of things that you can have in your city, whether it's, buildings, critters, etc. In Everdell Duo, you can just build out as much as you want. There is technically a card limit just on the factor of like that there's a limited number of plays per season. So there's like a functional card limit.
So there is something that's limiting there.
But you could go over the normal amount.
When I tell you that we barely passed that first one, it is making me a little bit nervous for future plays, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. One thing that it doesn't really give explicit instructions for, right, is kind of just how communicative you can be with your partner. So, like, it's not like a Sky Team where it says, like, outside of some loose planning, no communication.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of up to us to decide. And I mean, we'll evaluate kind of how we want to do based on like the level of challenge and how it goes. And I mean, there's elements of fun of solving a puzzle together. There's also elements of fun of like hoping that your partner solves the right piece of the puzzle that you're not trying to solve. So we'll just kind of see what feels best for us in that.
Yeah. And then we also played Dice Throne Adventures. We picked that one up again.
Yeah. Super great game for sure.
We originally started that campaign and played through one scenario, and that's why we put this on the 10 by 10 challenge, because we were like, we need to go back to that. We need to finish this.
Yeah.
It had been so long that we had named our team like the Fearsome Fiancés or something. I know, cringe. But like we are now married for like 6 months at the end of this month.
Yeah.
That's how long ago we played Dice Throne Adventure.
Yeah, and honestly, it was a while before the wedding. So like,
that's why we were like safe calling ourselves fiancés.
Yeah.
So, but this is really cool. It was a good time.
For sure. So that kind of brings us to our all-star picks of the month, right? So this isn't necessarily the best game or anything. This is just like what stood
out to us this month.
Yeah, when we think this month, what's the thing that just makes us think, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That game. And for me...
Segue time.
Dice Throne Adventures.
Yeah.
Look at this awesome box, by the way. It's like it's
so
a book.
Big.
It's so cool. Yeah, I love it. It's phenomenal. I just wish that it opened like a book. That'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, if that was like the rule book inside.
Yeah, that'd be so sick. Yeah, I just, again, even though just the one play so far in this past month, but just really excited to play more of it. It's a
Mhm.
really cool game. And, you know, I know that there's, you know, different scenarios and stuff and everything. And it's just, there's so much to it, you know?
Yeah.
Basically, Dice Throne, for those that don't know, I always describe it the same way. It's competitive battle Yahtzee.
Yeah.
And in all the best ways for each of those three words.
Yeah, I actually, when we picked up Dice Throne originally, I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did because I don't like battle royale games. Like, I don't like play it all out, winner takes all. Like that, I could be wrong. I could look back at some of my games and decide that, but I really just wasn't intrigued by that. But I love the dice rolling aspect and being able to like pick your powers that you're doing based on what you get on your rolls, like Yahtzee. It's just so cool. And the different characters within Dice Throne make the game very unique depending on who you're playing. And the cool thing about Dice Throne Adventures is that it is compatible with all of the characters.
Yeah. It effectively doubles the amount of Dice Throne content you have.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have, like, one set of 2 Dice Throne characters, your next biggest content upgrade is getting 2 more characters, right? If you're like us and you have, like, 12 characters, right?
How many are in the Marvel box right there?
8, I think.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, so you're right, 12. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have 12 Dice Throne characters, which far less than half.
Yeah.
But, like, adding 2 more characters, not a lot. Even adding 8 more characters, a big chunk, but not a ton. This adds, it doubles it, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, in this, it turns it into cooperative, and so different characters can kind of work together in different ways. Our current campaign that we're doing, we're playing as the Shadow Thief and the Moon Elf, which is, it's interesting because, you know, we have so many like debuffs and ways to avoid damage and stuff. So they almost are kind of like playing on the same axis, which is very cool. But also every once in a while we get hit by something that like really punishes us. It's just like, get rid of all my debuffs. And we're both just like, well, shit.
Yeah. So, we didn't win last time we played,
but we're gonna next time.
Yeah, we're gonna keep chugging along with this crew because I mean these are both characters that we liked, and we wanted to play with like Dice Throne original content instead of the Marvel content. But I mean, we could play through this again with Marvel characters. Playing through this makes me think that Dice Throne missions which is a new thing coming out from them, is going to be cool, which is like, it's going to be like mini versions of this. They're going to be like one-off things you can do. Yeah,
so like less campaign focused and more just like, you know, one-shot, you know, cooperative thingamajigs like this, which I think is cool, right? Because, you know, sometimes you're like, man, I really would just love to fight like that 4th boss in the campaign, but it's balanced around you having a ton of scenarios worth of extra items and loot and stuff, and you really can't do that. So,
but we love Dice Throne. We're thinking about picking up the Dice Throne X-Men chest at some point. Yeah. Like, I just don't see us slowing down from Dice Throne anytime soon, and this was a good reminder of why.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, it's one where, I mean, all of our Dice Throne playing has been with just the 2 of us, but it's definitely something that seems like it would just be so easy to just hand to a friend and just be like, here, this is what you're doing. You're trying to roll those things. Let's go. Yeah. And just get it out on the table super quick.
Yeah. And then for my all-star...
surprising no one.
It's a sequel. No. It's Critter Kitchen. Like, I should have just kept it on the table the whole time. But we would never room for Dice Throne. This was just such a standout just highlight of the month for me. We only played it once because it is a lot of game and it took a bit to kind of wrap our heads around what we're doing, but it is just like, it just seems so exciting to dive more into it. I feel like we've really only touched a little bit of it because we also have a full expansion in here. There's like variable things you can do so that there's different missions, there's different goals you can hit, there's different powers that you can get. There's different like ways you can play that. It's a good time. There's a solo version in here.
Yeah.
So I think this is just like a big old bang for your buck kind of game. And I was really impressed with the organization inside the deluxe box.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing has a place. Is it perfect? No. I have my notes, but it's close. It's really, really close. I love that all of the little like characters for like this one section of chefs are all in one tray instead of just in a bag, because in the game you're only going to need one of those at a time and you have to kind of find out which one it is. So it all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, fully agree. It definitely like it gets an A+ on storage. Like it's not like S tier tip top perfection, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's really close. I love the deluxe components in it. Like there's metal coins in there. There's screen printed wooden tokens for everything. All of the player boards feel nice and thick. There's little like player storage trays in there so that, you know, like we can keep the colors that we like to play on the top. We can just grab those when we want them. So, and it also plays up to 7 players at a time.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. So this is one that I'm really excited to share with our friends, that I'm really excited to keep diving into. And I just feel really good about this purchase. Kickstarter, I've never been disappointed by a Kickstarter game.
We are careful with what we kickstart. Like we make sure to look into things. And usually everything we kickstart falls into one of 2 categories. Either somebody that has a successful history with Kickstarters or something really cheap where we're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
We don't even if it doesn't end up happening, we don't really lose.
But what I was saying was, I've never really been disappointed by a Kickstarter game. And I feel like this was just such a good, like, satisfying yes. This was correct purchase.
Yeah, definitely excited. And honestly, very excited to try it with a lot of players because it's basically a simultaneous thing. Everybody chooses what they're doing and then you send everybody out.
There's a big chunk of it that's simultaneous. And maybe just because we were learning to play the game, we were kind of waiting for other chunks of it for the other person to go type deal. So like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm interested to see it with more people to see how it lengthens it, you know?
Yeah. Like, I think that with anything, like, if you just add 5 more people, it's gonna take longer no matter what, because there's just 5 more people there, right? Yeah. But I think that, like, if we played this with, like, 4 players, I really don't think it would probably add too much time-wise. I think it would add a lot of decision-making, which could add to the time,
But those are the games that we played in March. If you want to see more content like this, you want updates on our 10x10, you just want to hear about some games we might be playing, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any videos. You can also follow us on other channels for other types of content that we do. And if you've made it to the end of this video, drop a comment and let us know what a favorite game you played in March was. But until then, bye.